What's going on, guys? And welcome to the Super Bowl week edition of Timeout with uSTADIUM. As always, I am Brianna. I am your host. I am the one who tries to keep this thing running as smoothly as possible. I've got Frankie with me, and we got Nick back this week. So we are ready to go talking about Super Bowl 55. So without any wasted time, let's get right into it, you guys. What are your predictions?
I don't want to get into it right away. I just want you guys to say thank you to me because I have been on every show since this premiered a month ago. I have not skipped a show. Brianna skipped 2 weeks ago. Nick skipped last week. I'm the only one that hasn't skipped. Do I get something? I should have skipped this week.
Yeah, you get next week off.
Yeah, we told you next week you can have off.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to Miami at the end of the month. I didn't tell anybody, but I'm still going to do the show live from Miami. I'm going to do it from Brickell, baby. I will be live and in charge there. So
we're in trouble.
Must be nice. All right, are we ready? Can I start?
We can start.
Okay. Super Bowl predictions. We got a big game this weekend, you guys. I don't know if anybody's heard.
Oh yeah, the Super Bowl, right? Anybody else get really confused about the Roman numerals? Am I the only one? I'm so torn. I'm like, when I see them, it's like, how is last year LV1 and then this year is like LV? Isn't it is this golf or something? Where we go lower each year?
Last year was LIV.
Oh yeah,
perfect because it was in Miami.
Oh right.
One of the clubs in Miami is called Live.
I'm not hip to the hop to the Miami club scene. So
it's always when it's before, the V is the 5, and when it's before, that means it's -1. So that's why the 4 is IV, and the next year is going to be VI, which makes it 6.
I have no idea.
There's no way Nick will ever get that.
No. Way too much math for me.
That's okay. All right, football. Let's get back into football. Come on.
Yes.
Who is going to win this game, and what is your score? Nick, you want to go first since you're back?
Sure, yeah. I've said it all along. I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, and when you feel like you might have the Chiefs, you feel like you got, you're feeling good. You feel like you have the Chiefs, offense under wraps. Mahomes just breaks out of nowhere and puts up 21 points in 13 minutes and crushes you. So he's an assassin. Spagnuolo against Tom Brady has actually been a quiet under the radar ownage, I would say. I think Spagnuolo's defenses are 2-3 against Tom Brady in his career. I think the Chiefs are a little bit healthy. Granted, the offensive line is still banged up. But, with Mahomes, they're able to piece some things together. And, who are we kidding? They're not going to run the ball for 250 yards anyway. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes. And as long as Tyreek Hill and Kelsey are there, they're going to put up points. It's going to be, I think this is going to be actually a high-scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a one-score game. I would say the Chiefs are going to probably win by 10 or 11. I just think that.
Yeah, wow, really?
Mahomes is he's a freak, man. It's on a whole nother level of play. And if Brady comes and he throws 2-3 picks like he did last year, the Chiefs are going to score off of those and score quickly. So, with Kansas City, these games can get out of hand quick, and it seems like they're a lot healthier. That Browns game kind of woke them up, I think. Granted, Mahomes got hurt, but even before Mahomes did get hurt, he wasn't he didn't feel like Patrick Mahomes. But I think that kind of woke them up, and they looked great against the Bills, and I think they're just a machine right now. And I don't know, I don't trust Bruce Arians. I'm not the hugest fan of his. I know Todd Bowles has done a great job, but their defense, I don't think against Mahomes is going to last. 33-21.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I wasn't expecting that, but all right. Frankie, what about you?
All right. So last week I had a long week. I was moving out of my apartment, and at the end of the week we threw a little party, which consisted of me and Ari only, my roommate. There was nobody else there.
Two people a party?
Yeah, we called 2 people a party.
All right.
We partied. We had some fun. No. We had some wine, some claws. We talked a bit, and then for some reason the Brady 6 came up over my YouTube. And before that, I was on Nick's train. I was on the Mahomes bandwagon that everyone else is on, and I was with you on that. I just said to myself, Mahomes is maybe the most talented quarterback we've ever seen, and they're just going to go and run away with this, and the Chiefs are going to win by multiple scores. Then I watched the Brady 6. And I told Ari, let's just watch this. The Super Bowl's on, next weekend. Let's watch. He's like, what are you talking? We're drinking wine and claws. Why would we watch this? I'm like, just put it on. We've never seen it before. Watching that document, he had never seen it. No, he had never seen it. Yeah, I'm like, I'm like, let's put it on. You've never seen it before. So we started watching the Brady 6. He leaves. I think he goes to sleep, and I'm just sitting there watching it like late. It's like 1 a.m. Yeah, no, I'm just watching the Brady 6. After watching that, I said to myself, Tom Brady is going to win the Super Bowl. In that documentary, you have to watch it again or even just watch the first half hour. This guy does whatever he can to win a football game. And with this game, with the amount of pressure that's on the line, with so much to lose for him and his legacy, he wants to be the best athlete of all time, and he doesn't want anyone to be even close. He's probably been studying and looking at film for the last 2 weeks, day and night. There is no way that he's going to go out there and lose by 2 scores. Although I did agree with Nick before I saw that documentary. But once that documentary gets into the head of Tom Brady, he is a psycho. He's Psycho Tom. They're not going to go out there and he's not going to go out there and let them go out there, and they're going to just let Mahomes and the Chiefs do what they want and win by a few scores. I think the Bucs are going to cover for sure, and I think they're going to win the game. I just think it's going to cap off one of the most historic careers for any American athlete in the history of sports. I think they're going to win. He's going to retire. It's going to be a very, very good close game. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as the over-under says at 56.5. I think it'll be, I think the first half, you may have a total of 10 combined points, maybe 14 tops. I think you'll get there in the second half potentially, but I just see it being the under, and I see the Bucs winning by a few points.
So I obviously am in the same boat. I'm not going to bet against Tom Brady ever in my life, especially against the Chiefs. As a Patriots fan, I don't like the Chiefs. We've been over this. But I don't know if you guys have seen, going off of that point that Frankie just said about preparation, his family has been out of town the last 10, 12 days. He said that this is the most preparation he feels like he's had going into a Super Bowl, because it's just been him. He hasn't had the kids around. He hasn't had Giselle around. It's just him. So I agree. I think it's going to be more of a high scoring game than Frankie thinks. I think I'm in the same boat as Nick with the 30-20 range. Just flip flop who wins. But I agree.
I think it's less about Brady than it is who he's playing. He hasn't played a guy like Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Think of the quarterbacks he's played in his career, right? Besides for McNabb back, 100 years ago, it feels like. Jared Goff, terrible. Nick Foles, fluke. Eli Manning, granted, it's Eli Manning. I still don't put him on that like upper tier, upper echelon. Jake Delhomme. He's never played a guy like Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I think this Chiefs team, you're not giving Mahomes and the Chiefs enough credit here. I think you're talking about a whole new animal. I think I could see it being a Chiefs blowout much more than I could see it being a Buccaneers win. I don't think like the whole season, they're not on the same level, these two teams, man. Like the Chiefs if they start to get a little bit of that pressure up front, if Chris Jones has to show up on defense, because that's where Spagnuolo likes to hit Brady, right? Yeah, he likes that, like, you only send 3 or 4 guys. You're not sending these all-out blitzes. That's what Brady eats up. So he'll eat that up. If you can get that pressure with the front, like a Chris Jones, it could be a really long night. It could be something like the Broncos-Seahawks Super Bowl, that bad. I really think this is going to get ugly. I just think, like, Mahomes, he's just we haven't seen a guy like this, man. Like, I know, trust me, I don't love Tom Brady. I respect the hell out of Tom Brady. He's the greatest. I think Mahomes, though, is on his own personal level of like quarterbacking that we haven't seen. He's just like video game freakishly good, that if you give him just a little bit, he's going to take the whole thing. And I think, like, if I say 31, I could see it being dropping 40. Like, I could see it being like that.
The thing I think not enough people are talking about, though, and Nick, I get your point. We haven't seen a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. We never have.
Yeah.
So it could happen that they come out and they drop 35, 40 points, and it's a 2-score win for them. But these two teams played recently on November 29th, right after Thanksgiving. They played. Mahomes, I'm looking now, had 462 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill had 269 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Chiefs only won by 3 points. Put that in perspective. So a game like Mahomes had, I'm telling most people this now, and I think it's going to be important for the Chiefs to do. They're going to have to come out and run the football to some degree. I think the Bucs will play back. They're going to let Devin White and their defense do what they do underneath, and they're fast. Levante David and White can run sideline to sideline. And the Chiefs are going to have to run the football. They're going to have to establish some running game. Mahomes is not going to come out and just do what he wants to do. I don't see it happening. On the other side, I think the Bucs are going to come out and they're going to run the football. Fournette and Ronald Jones are going to be extremely important in this game. The Bucs are going to want to control the clock. Brady's going to audible to them more often than not. I think you're going to see Fournette or Jones. I could see one of them having a really big game. And it's not a coincidence. The last time the Bucs won the Super Bowl, Pittman had a huge game, I think over 130 yards. Not that really matters now, but I think that I could see Fournette having over 100 yards, honestly, in the game, and the Bucs winning, and Brady not really doing anything spectacular. And Mahomes has 300-ish yards and a few touchdowns, but the Bucs win by 3. I can see that scenario playing out. And again, I was Team Nick in terms of what you said earlier about who's going to win this game, the Chiefs, but it was just that Brady 6. I just think there's something mind over matter sometimes in sports. You get in the opponent's head. You're just so focused that it's the think and grow rich thing, you know? It's like, Nick, we've been thinking a lot. What's going on? When's the bread coming in, bro? You know, by the way, we got these cool ass shirts, guys. So you guys want? We got champion shirts. So
look good.
You know, yeah, it looks.
You look good.
Right?
You feel good. You feel good. You play good.
Yeah, I got the CEO on the back. Oh boy.
Oh my goodness.
CEO, baby. Damn right.
Take it away.
Even though everyone thinks Nick's CEO, which is horseradish, BS.
All right. I will just add one more thought to this. I think we're kind of forcing ourselves to downplay the storyline that the Chiefs are going to be out 2 offensive linemen. And the only reason I say that is because Jason Pierre-Paul and the rest of the quarterback rush,
Shaq Barrett,
they absolutely destroyed Aaron Rodgers. They gave him more often than not a lot of time to get some work done. They sacked him 5-6 times in that game. I think that's a lot bigger than we're making it out to be. And just because, for my own selfish reasons for going this weekend, I've been checking the weather every single day. The chances of a decent amount of rain Sunday look pretty high. So that, I think, can have a big factor on the run game. And
yeah, Mahomes doesn't lose.
Not easy to run.
Aaron Rodgers does, so.
And that's true, but it's not easy to run when you have some backup linemen in there. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just something to keep an eye on.
I mean, I hope. I don't want, last thing we want to see is like a terrible game to end this weird season anyway.
Yeah.
So I hope it's a close game, but I think Mahomes is on another level. I could see this team I'm like trying to sit back and think like, okay, who can give them a run in the next year, 2, 3 years? And I'm like, this team is just going to run over everybody. Who in the AFC is going to give them a run? The Pats are done. They don't have that Pats I know Brianna's doesn't like to hear that, but the Brady Pats are done. I'll say that.
Nick, do you ever think though that the Chiefs are a little bit on a slippery slope with injuries, and Tyreek Hill can get hurt, and maybe Kelsey's getting a little old, and Andy Reid? How long is this guy going to coach for? Don't you think? I don't see dynasty in the Chiefs like the Pats had with Brady.
No, I agree. I don't think it's going to be a 20-year thing. I don't think it's going to be a 10. But I think in the next 5 years,
you got to think about how much money they're allotting into certain people.
Yeah.
And how they can sustain what they have right now with all that money in certain areas while not being able to pay other important pieces of this team.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to last as long as we think. I think they're going to be a really, 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 really bright flame. And then once everybody decides to go get their money somewhere else, they're all going to go.
Yeah,
because you can't say that they don't have people on that team who are not deserving of giant contracts, whether it's still be in Kansas City or elsewhere.
Yeah, no, I just think as long as you have Mahomes here, you're going to have guys who want to play for him. You're going to have guys who are, like Brady did, gets the best out of all of these guys. Like, who knows if Tyreek Hill is as good as he is now if he went somewhere else? You know, like it might just be the fit in this offense. I don't think Andy Reid is. What the hell is he going to go and do? Like, he's going to coach here as long as Mahomes is still here. You know, so like I don't think it's going to be like a decade run like the Pats have had 2 decades, because it's just kind of like not the the style of football anymore. But for the next 5 years, I mean, I don't see anybody who's going to be able to overtake Mahomes and Andy Reid and what they have going.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. All right, so moving on to subtopic 2. Sounds like we know who our MVPs for each take is going to be. So Nick, I'm assuming you're going to go with Mahomes.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's so.
Yeah.
I hate to like it. Yeah, it's like I'm gonna
Nick
go.
Nick wants to go
and,
Kelsey so bad, don't you?
No, he's a D-bag, Kelsey. No, I could see like
go Le'Veon Bell. Come on, Nick.
if he'd get the touches, I would say Le'Veon, but not a chance.
No way.
He'll have like 10 touches max.
Yeah.
Like, I could see Edwards-Helaire having a big game, even out of the backfield. I'll go with Tyreek Hill. I think he's going to have like 3 touchdowns, like 175 yards and 3 touchdowns.
But if he does do that, Nick, they're going to give it to Mahomes. So if he does
unless he's like, let's say he has like 3 long, like 60-yard touchdowns or something, like that'll stick in the mind of people when they're voting, and they're almost like, I guess they don't really want Tyreek Hill to win the MVP either. He's not the best of guys, but like, I don't know, if he has that like explosive game and that those highlight catchy plays, like, that's the world we live in now. It's going to be on like everybody's TikTok and like Instagram and stuff, and they're going to just give it to him out of like excitement.
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill, I'll go with him. I could see it.
The same thing happened 2 years ago when Edelman won. I mean, you could have easily given it to Brady, but it was Edelman who was really making those plays. And
should have gave it to Goff for letting the Patriots win that game.
I'll die on the hill that Ryan Allen should have won MVP in that game.
Punters are people too.
They're people too, and he was an important one that day.
That's right.
Frankie, who's your MVP?
Rob Gronkowski.
Oh.
Actually, Gronk had a great game against them last time. He had over 100 yards. But listen, I think if the Bucs win and Brady throws for 1 yard, they're going to give him the MVP. So I'm just going to go Tom Brady. I think that's the story. It's on the wall. The writing's on the wall for this. If the Bucs were to win, then I think they will. So I'm going to have to go Brady.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat too. I think, like you said, it's the perfect way. And I know he said he wants to play to 45, and then he's even said this week that he wants to play past 45. But I think if he wins this, then he's just gonna go home, and Giselle's gonna be like, "Okay, like, are you done now?
Think so?
Can we be done?" I think so. His kids are getting older.
Yeah, I think he has to almost. No, I mean, he doesn't have to, but it's getting ridiculous at this point.
I don't think he doesn't have to. I think. I think if he wins it, I could see him retiring for sure. Just go. That's as much of a sunset as you can ride off into, winning your 7th Super Bowl. But I mean, it's Tom Brady, so it wouldn't surprise me if he comes back either. Yeah. Like, nothing with this guy is predictable.
Well, the Bucs want to extend him. They want to extend him.
Why wouldn't you? Back to your point about Gronk in the Super Bowl MVP, he probably should have won it against the Rams. He had that big catch. That was like the biggest play of the game. Remember that play like in the fourth quarter?
Right in front of my face. It was beautiful. I got
the perfect game. I mean, I know it's one catch, but
it was huge. It was
the biggest play of the game by far.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know Holden's listening, and he probably doesn't want to be reminded about that, but sorry, man.
I've got, if he wants to see the ticket.
I knew he had to. I know he's here, and I know he's saying something that probably like mad that I brought up the Rams, but I knew he had to be there.
There's the ticket and the confetti and everything right there.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That is cool.
We covered MVPs. Who is going to be the X factor who doesn't win the MVP but still makes a decent case for it and is a big reason why their team wins?
Chris Jones, 2.5 sacks.
Whoa. Okay. Defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just said it before. Leonard Fournette, I think he's going to go off. He's going to play like it's his last game. He's going to want to prove everyone wrong. So I see Leonard Fournette having a big
playoff Lenny. That's right.
I'm thinking defense too. I think Devin White kind of sets the tone for the
He's
Bucs.
amazing. That guy is so good.
Yeah, they both
are. Very good. And if they get the Bucs defense, they're getting some key players back. this week.
So. Yeah, they do. Antoine Winfield's back healthy, so that's a big plus. He'll get to see Tyreek Hill run by him 3 or 4 times.
Oh my God. Whitehead's supposed to be okay. We'll see. All right. Speaking of Jared Goff, we're going to segue back to that one. He's on the move. He's gone. Yeah. He's out of LA, and he was.
Man, I'd be throwing a party if I was a Rams fan.
As one of my friends tweeted, he was sent to the Night's Watch up in Detroit. Little Game of Thrones reference. So
that one's over my head a little bit.
Yeah, way over mine.
Yeah, guys, come on.
We're the only 2 people
in the world who didn't watch that show, right?
Oh my God.
I don't watch any show. I tried to get into Ozark lately. That show is getting really weird on me. The best part of Ozark is when the guy gets thrown off the balcony. That was a good part. You know that part?
It's a really good show. It's kind of slow, but if you take the time to get into it, it's really good.
It's not Breaking Bad good, though. There's no way it's Breaking Bad good.
I haven't watched any of that either.
Okay. Breaking Bad's really good, Nick.
Breaking Bad's really good.
Yeah.
All right, quarterbacks, can we get back to that, please?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay. So, Jared Goff, 2 future first-round picks, and I believe it was 1/3 are sent to Detroit in exchange for Matt Stafford in a crazy 10:30 p.m. news break.
Yeah.
So who won this trade? Do you think LA getting their potential Super Bowl quarterback, or do you think Detroit getting Goff and a slew of picks in the future? Who's the winner here?
Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I've been thinking about this a lot. I've jumped back and forth a bunch, just like I did with the Super Bowl prediction. I don't know what's going on with me, Nick. I can't even take a stand anymore.
Too many Al Gore, what do they call documentaries?
Yeah, I actually did see one recently, but let's not get into politics. We'll talk about politics eventually. Well, me and Nick are going to do a political show, and Brianna could hop on every
once. Oh my God, no, I'm all set.
All right, so all right, let me just say this. I don't think the Rams are going to win a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford. However, they had no choice. Jared Goff stinks. Do what you need to do to put yourself in a position to maybe win a Super Bowl. Now, are they going to win a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford? I don't think so. But what other option do you have? Take the risk and try. This game is about elite quarterback play. And if you look at the teams that actually are successful, they all have elite quarterbacks or quarterbacks that went on MVP runs for certain periods of time. You cannot win, as you see, with Jimmy Garoppolo consistently. You can win with Jared Goff consistently, Kirk Cousins consistently. What's going on in the league now is you're overpaying the hell out of these guys that win some games, but they're not the reason that these teams are winning. The 49ers aren't winning because of Jimmy G. They're winning because they're very well coached and they could put any running back into that system and they're going to run for 200 yards. So this game is about elite quarterback play and being able to even just simply audibling at the right time, being able to control the clock, knowing who to go to when and which receivers to trust in big spots. Matt Stafford has proven that he can play at an elite quarterback level. Is he? We'll find out in the next couple years. Do I think they're going to win a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford? Probably not. I don't think they will, but it's the right move. I don't understand why, the Lions may have gotten a good deal also because what were they going to do with Stafford and why not stock up on picks? But I'll say this, Jared Goff's career is over. It's done. That guy, unless he gets saved going somewhere who knows, maybe he'll go to a team like the Niners in a few years and be able to have a system that he can just go in and be a cog in. But in terms of Jared Goff, building from that Lions team, there's nothing to build. I mean, it's like trying to build a house with pieces of paper. It's just not going to happen. Sorry.
No, I'm with you, Frank. I think, and it's funny because when the Rams gave Goff the contract, it was like, how is Sean McVay getting duped by this guy? We all see who this guy is. He's not very good. He was carried by, you can't get much of a better offensive quarterback coach or system than a Sean McVay, so when they gave him the contract, I'm like, what are they like tying themselves to this guy for 4 or 5 years or maybe even longer? And, the Rams just don't give they don't give a damn about the salary cap. They don't give a damn about like honoring these contracts. They get in and out of them like, new underwear. It's crazy. But like Jared Goff to me was a guy.
Damn, Nick. Well, now I know why. What have you been thinking about these last 2 weeks? You were on the show last week. Jeez, dude.
No,
come on, wearing all black.
I thought I was wearing a turtleneck too.
I thought you were wearing a turtleneck before.
No, but Goff was just so low energy, laid back. He was like the typical California quarterback. Same thing with Sam Darnold, and that's why eventually he's going to just flame out. I don't even know if the flame was lit anyway before, but like these guys are just too even keel. They're too low key. There's no energy. Goff is like a wet noodle. Like there was nothing to like. Nothing. You watch him, you're like, how is McVay, who looks like he snorts lines on the sideline, every other drive, and you have like a cool, up-and-coming, fast, hip team in the Rams? What are they doing with Jared Goff? It was like the odd couple, so it makes no sense. You bring in a guy like Stafford, who seems like he's the Energizer Bunny, like he's running around everywhere, he's getting hit, he's getting knocked down, he's getting up, he's throwing the ball like sidearm. He was doing the Mahomes throw before Mahomes was even there, but like that makes sense to me. Like Stafford, if he was with McVay in the Super Bowl or even, a couple of years ago, like that Rams team probably could have won one or two, but like what the Lions did make sense. They got, Brad Holmes went to Detroit as their GM and he brought in a guy who he's familiar with. The NFL is all about relationships. Holmes was going to go bring in a guy he was comfortable with, get the 2 first-rounders, get the third. They have the flexibility to take on the money that Goff is owed. Then you can move on from him in a year or two. I hope it doesn't mean that they're not going to draft a quarterback this year. That would be like totally Detroit Lions if they did like, oh, we have Goff, we're good for the next 3 years. Like that would be the ultimate mistake. Like, so they should go in, play with Goff for a year, draft your quarterback this year or at least next year when you can trade up. I just thought it was a little, at the end of the day, the Rams and the Lions did right by Stafford. Stafford wanted LA. He wanted McVay. McVay really wanted him. So, they could have gotten the Washington first-round pick or the Panthers first-round pick, which was 7 overall. They could have picked 7th and 8th and easily moved up, into Fields, Wilson territory and drafted their next guy. But, it seems like they're going to go with Goff for a year, probably draft their quarterback next year, and they're able to build around him. So I get, like, their thought process here. But, in, like, the Madden era that we live in, the Rams not picking for 7 years in the first round, like the pressure is on them to win in the next 2 or 3 years. Otherwise, you're going to start seeing Donald's play decline, Jalen Ramsey's play decline. If Stafford comes in and isn't like, mounds better than Goff, you're going to start to see a lot of like uproar in that team. So it better work and it better work fast. Otherwise, I think you're going to see eventually like the Lions probably have the upper hand in the trade. But for the time being right now, how can you say that the Rams aren't a better team with Stafford than Goff?
Yeah. And this is a really good comment by Adam saying, if you're not a superstar, you're a bust. And like, that's not true. There's a happy medium in there. And like, it's okay to be an average quarterback.
Yeah.
Like it's not, hey,
Goff quarterbacked the team to the Super Bowl. I mean, granted, he wasn't the reason why, but he had some really good games. He was still there. Yeah.
He had that shootout game against KC, that crazy Monday night game. That was him.
Yeah, Goff's not a bust.
He's not a bust. He's not an elite quarterback, but he's certainly not a bust.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you think, did Jeff Fisher kind of have it right at the beginning of his career? But I mean, he's not a bust. I won't go as far as to say that, but
he's had success, team-wise. And I mean, I know the Eagles won the Super Bowl, but Wentz didn't play in it. So, I mean, those two are always going to be kind of like tied together. They were 1 and 2, and everybody thought for sure Wentz at the beginning of his career was much better than Goff, and I still think he is. But Wentz is kind of in this whole messy situation now. But I mean, Goff's got a starting job. Does Wentz? I mean, unless he gets traded, no.
The most interesting thing about this whole ordeal that happened with Goff is I've never seen a coach talk up his quarterback more than McVay did literally 3 days before they traded Goff. Did you see the comments he had about Goff? This guy is going to be with us hopefully forever. I don't want to coach another quarterback. You can't talk about a quarterback who prepares and is more, about winning than Jared. Like, and then you go and you trade him 2 or 3 days later. That was a little bit, when I saw that, I'm like, McVay, did you really not know you guys were in the, in talks with the Lions?
Talking the guy up to trade him.
Yeah.
He knew the deal.
Yeah, but that was a little rough, man. Those comments, I've never seen a coach talk up any player to the regard, in the regard that McVay spoke about Goff. That was like the highest regard possible. I mean, it's smart. You're probably right, but I mean, it's not like they got a steal in the trade. They gave up 2 first-round picks and a third for Stafford, who's getting old, and I don't know. I was a little bit taken back when I saw that. When I saw those comments, I'm like, "There's no way they're going to trade this guy." When I
saw the comments from Les Snead, like a few days before the trade, I knew it was over.
Those were the ones.
What did he say again? I'm not sure.
He's our quarterback now. Right now, like when you hear just like what Saleh and I
said about Darnold,
Jets, what they're saying about like there's coach talk, and then there's like we know what we're doing here, like. There was no commitment to Darnold. There was no commitment to Goff. Like these guys are looking to move on. They're not going to like say something and then have it backfire on them in the papers like a few weeks later. So, when Snead said that, and McVay seemed to me was pretty quiet like lately. He was actually on vacation. I don't know where he was, and it turned out Stafford was too. Yeah, he was in Cabo, and Stafford was there too. That sounds a little.
And they just so happened to have bumped into each other at the same resort in Cabo.
Is that not tampering?
Go figure, huh?
I think they're both like nobody's got file tampering. Everybody was on the same page here, so it wasn't like tampering with a free agent who signed. Like there was an agreement here, like the Lions and Stafford knew that there was a divorce coming, and vice versa. But
Brianna, what happens if you bump into Brady in Tampa, like Saturday before the game? What's the move there?
I would probably cry, to be honest.
Have you ever met him?
No, I've been in the same room as him, but I've never
You breathe the same air?
I breathe the same air, yeah.
How big was this room?
It was like a conference room.
Oh, like a trade show kind of thing?
Yeah, so like professionalism aside, I would probably cry.
Yeah, fangirl it out.
Maybe like faint, like on the verge of fainting, but like not full-fledged.
Just bring an inhaler to Tampa just in case.
Yeah.
That's like Nick if he sees Quinn Coples,
Oh, yeah.
He's got kind of an important event this weekend that he's prepared for, so I don't really anticipate bumping into him at like a bar or anything. There's not that many people there this year, though. I've heard otherwise. I know some people that are there right now, and they say it's like party central.
Yeah. Florida and COVID, really, they don't care too much.
Yeah, they don't really mix.
So. Miami's the one place actually that has like some strict laws because it's a city, so you have more of a liberal pull there. So you're not going to get that as much in Tampa or like the rural areas, obviously. So they're a little bit more open.
I'm just trying to go sit on the beach for a little while. That's all I really care about. But we got some more openings for quarterbacks. So I know there's a lot, and I know we don't really prepare for this show. We kind of just go off the top of our head for the most part. So running through the list of teams that are in the market for a quarterback right now, whether they have one right now and they're trying to get rid of it, whether they're like
more than half the league, right?
Just have nobody. Yeah, it's about at this point it's about 15.
It's crazy
around there
turnover this year.
So just think of the quarterbacks that are either on the trading block or free agents and send them somewhere. Where are you going to send them? Who wants to go first? Because
I could start.
Okay,
I'm kind of obsessed over this. So you have Panther. I'm going to go in I have the draft order in my head. You have the Jaguars, Jets, Dolphins are like up in the air. I think they'll obviously go back to Tua unless they trade him in the Watson deal. Then you have the Falcons. It looks like they're going to stay with Matt Ryan. Panthers, 49ers, Washington, Bears, Colts, Patriots, Saints, possibly, unless they stay with Winston. Steelers will know more next week after that Big Ben meeting. I know they want him to take a lot less than the $40 million he's counted for on the cap. And then you have teams like, obviously, the Texans, the Raiders.
Cowboys.
Yeah, it looks like Dak will probably be back there. Vikings, are they going to move on from Cousins? I know there's some financial flexibility there if they do. The Broncos, are they like married to Drew Lock?
This is crazy. I've never seen anything. I've never seen anything like this before,
and there's names out there. You know, you have Wentz, you have Darnold, you have Jimmy G, you have Cousins, Teddy, Carr, Tua. Matt Ryan's probably going to stay, and Dak is probably going to stay. But like, that's a lot of guys, and then you add in the possibility for 5 first-round quarterbacks. You have obviously Lawrence to the Jaguars, Wilson, Fields, Mac Jones, Kyle Trask. Like, that's a lot of changing places. So I think the next 2 names that are going to be traded sooner rather than later are Wentz and Darnold. I think those are going to be the ones, like, maybe a week after the Super Bowl, you see Wentz traded. I think Indy is obviously the landing spot with Frank Reich, and Press Taylor is there. So there's a lot of relationships, which the whole league is about, obviously. And then you have Darnold. It's like, who that missed out on Stafford is going to get aggressive and offer the Jets a 2nd round and a 5th rounder. I know Schefter said a 1st, a late one. I don't see that happening. I just don't. Unless the Saints or the Steelers like fall in love with Darnold and know that their 2nd round pick is too late, that they would trade, let's say a 1 for Darnold and a 4, to kind of like make it almost like a 2nd round pick. I think it's still going to be a 2nd round pick. And you have like the Bears, you have Washington, you have the Colts if they don't get Wentz. I don't think the Panthers and Darnold kind of mix well. I don't really see that. And then you have, the 49ers possibly could, Shanahan and that system has always been a fit for Darnold. When Darnold did flash a little bit, Jeremy Bates was the offensive coordinator. They were running something similar to the Shanahan offense, and that's when you saw a little bit of Darnold moving out of the pocket, throwing the ball quick, and Darnold looked actually like someone who could turn into an NFL quarterback. And then ever since then, it's been downhill. And then, is Kirk Cousins that rumored? Like, I don't buy the source who reported it, but it makes sense because of the Shanahan obsession with Kirk Cousins. Is this Shanahan? Is a Cousins plus picks for Jimmy G, or vice versa? Sorry, is a Kirk Cousins for Jimmy G plus picks trade possible? I mean, maybe. And then the Derek Carr situation. I don't think they move on from Carr unless they can get a lot and then move that for Watson. But I think everything kind of like boils down to who is going to wait for Deshaun Watson and wait for the Texans to say, all right, I'm not doing this anymore. We'll trade him, because that's eventually where this Watson thing is going to go. Like, are teams like the Panthers going to wait out there who really want Watson? Or are they going to say, all right, screw it, let's go get Darnold, let's go get, try and trade for Wentz, or if we're going to try and move up in the draft. If the Jets do get Watson, like, we'll move up to 2 with the Texans, or move up to 3 with the Dolphins, who are definitely a trade out possibility. So it's like, it's going to be like that next domino. If Wentz goes to the Colts, and then you'll see like Darnold be the next one up, and then, that Jimmy G, Kirk Cousins kind of situation comes to a head, and Holden Luck is not coming out of retirement. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, the Colts are definitely the team to watch, because when you look at these teams like Panthers, Bears, Colts, Jaguars, Patriots, Jets, like, the Colts are the best team there. So it's like the most intriguing spot. And I think they're going to be aggressive. Obviously not that aggressive, because they wouldn't give up the 1st for Stafford. So it looks like they kind of like have, maybe they know this Wentz thing is going to get done, and they're just kind of, maybe Wentz is going to redo his deal to go to Indy and, make that like hit a little bit less. Maybe that's a holdup, or maybe it's the draft pick in return. But I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see like a couple days after the Super Bowl, Wentz goes to Indy. Sorry, Frank, I know I took a lot of time.
No, you're good, man. I really don't have much to say. I just think if a team wants to invest in a quarterback, let's say like a Sam Darnold, or even a Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't think going into a high pressure situation, a team that's in like win now mode, like the Saints, or even the Colts in some way, I don't think those type of quarterbacks make sense there. You want to put Darnold in a spot where he can kind of do things not underneath the bright lights, similar to what Teddy did with Carolina. Go to a team where you can start, but you're not expected to necessarily win in year one. Darnold, for example, to the Saints, to me, makes no sense. He's going to have to come in and win right away. I just don't think he's ready to do that. So I think you'll see smart GMs bring in a guy that makes sense in their system. Darnold to the Bears, I think, makes a little bit of sense. The Chicago is an outdoor, team. So you're going to need to have some air underneath that ball. And Darnold does. He can sling it. So I think it makes sense there. He makes sense there. But I don't know. I just don't see like Darnold going to a team, again, like the Saints or 49ers or Steelers. Just doesn't really make sense. You're trying to get a quarterback that's going to help you win now and is more of a win now style than Darnold is. Darnold's a project at this point. So you want someone that is just Kirk Cousins isn't a project. You know what you're going to get. There is no ceiling anymore. He's here. That's right. He's here. If he fits your system like he made with the 49ers, that makes sense. Darnold to Washington, the big blue knight, baby. That's
right. I think you're right.
I actually kind of like that.
I love that.
I think like the thought process is like teams see Darnold and a lot of people have reported like teams see Darnold as the Jets screwed up here, not Darnold, right? So you get a coach like Sean Payton who raved about Darnold before the draft in 2018. He said, I wouldn't be surprised if in 5 years he's the only quarterback left out of the group. So you have to, these coaches, as you know, Frank, you play college football, these egos are through the roof. A guy like a Sean Payton, I could fix him. Like, let me have him. He's going to be like my Andrew Luck part 2. So if you do see a guy like Darnold end up in New Orleans, it's because Sean Payton says, all right, he's played 3 years. He's had experience. He's had bad experience. Let me put him in my offense. I'm going to be able to get everything out of him. I do agree with you. I don't see him on the Saints for whatever reason. And I think Washington does make sense. I think, the Colts kind of make sense. I see that indoors kind of suiting him better. But it's a weird situation because I think coaches and people around the league like Sam Darnold a lot more than the fans do. There's always that bit of disconnect, right? Like the fans see one thing and then, the execs and the coaches see another thing. So I think when you hear Schefter say a first round pick for Darnold, we laugh at it because he's like, the 32nd ranked starting quarterback on PFF and the passer rating and basically in every stat Darnold's at the bottom of. So we laugh at it like, oh, yeah, he's going to go for a first. But then when you see he's 24 years old, he's 2 years away from making a decision on whether you want to pay him or not. Whereas these other guys, Cousins, Jimmy G, Derek Carr, Carson Wentz, these guys are coming to you, and you're going to have to probably cut some guys to make these trades work. Darnold is only going to make like 11 mil or whatever it is next year, which is very, very cheap for a starting quarterback, even though – statistically, Darnold really isn't a starting quarterback, but, I still see, and that's why, I was told, and we reported the other day that multiple teams have called the Jets already. No offers made, no teams noted, but the Jets have gotten calls to see if Darnold is available, and the Jets are listening. So, obviously, I think we all know where this is heading. The Jets are going to have either drafting a new quarterback or making that trade for Watson, which I still think it's going to be drafting a quarterback, but I think Darnold is going to be a guy who gets traded for a lot more than people, or at least fans, are like, wow, really? Darnold went for a 2 and a 3 or, a 2 and a 4. That guy's terrible. I think that's where like the disconnect between the fans and the execs and coaches land within the media.
Yeah, and the other thing there, just to piggyback off that, the other thing is you're going to have an exec who's going to study Sam Darnold's game and think to himself, what needs to change for Sam Darnold to be successful? In my opinion, he carried a lot of his bad mistakes from college, from USC into the NFL, and he didn't get the chance to sit and learn from a good quarterback and be able to fix those mistakes. Sam Darnold needs to fix his mistakes, that he's been doing the same mistakes now that he did at USC. That's his problem. Patrick Mahomes sat for a year. Quarterbacks sometimes need to sit for a year and learn how to actually play an NFL caliber style of quarterback. That is what Sam Darnold needs. Now, does a GM or an executive at one of these teams have some insight as to like how they can fix these mistakes? I think personally, the mistakes are too vast to just point at one thing, where Sam Darnold needs to actually go somewhere and maybe sit for a year. And I proposed this to the Texans. I will propose this trade. I would give them 3 first-round picks, give them Sam Darnold, give them the 2. With the 2, draft Fields. Draft Justin Fields with the 2. Let Darnold start next year. Let Fields sit behind Sam Darnold. Let Fields learn how to play quarterback for a year and let Darnold try to elevate his stock on the market. You have these then 2 first-round picks because one of them would be the 2 for Fields. And then you can see what Darnold is and maybe give them Frank Gore, Big T. Exactly, dude. The best running back of all time, baby. Frankie G, boy. It's my guy. Anyone named Frank is a GOAT. Just know that.
Didn't the Texans say that they wanted a young defensive player in this package, though?
I don't think anything you've heard from anybody right now about what the Texans are doing is true. I think, like, from what we know is the Texans have basically said, no, not trading him, goodbye. Like, so anything you hear is really like media speculation. I know, like, you have John McClain, who's been with that team since their inception, is basically negotiating through the media for the Texans. He's basically a mouthpiece for the Texans. So I'm sure they went to him and said, hey, leak this at least. So, like, I don't want to waste my time with a team calling and offering 2 first-round picks for Watson. At least, like, cut these suitors in half if eventually when we do get to the point of trading him. But that was what McClain said, like, starts with 3 1s, 2 2s, and 2 defensive starters is what he put out there, which I think is just obviously.
Nick, what about Watson? What about the report that Watson said he'll hold out if the Texans don't trade him?
See, I don't think that was like leaked from Watson's team, but I do think that's what he's prepared to do for sure. Like, you don't dig in and you don't put your name and reputation from, especially a guy who's well liked in the city.
Well, I thought Watson's done it a lot better than Jamal Adams did.
Oh, yeah, of course.
When he forced his way out. Yeah.
Like, Watson's in the right here. Like, I know Brett Favre has gone, like, his old country asses went nuts, and, like, ever since he's retired, he's been just, like, off his rocker. I think those painkillers are slipping back in, but I mean, that dude just needs to shut his mouth. Like, really, he was probably my favorite quarterback, and ever since he's retired, he just makes, like, one worse statement after the other. So, like, there's nothing wrong with what Watson's doing. Like, he was not the one who traded DeAndre Hopkins. He wasn't the one who said, I want to be involved and forced his way there. It was, hey, the Texans said, we're going to involve you in this GM coaching search, and they lied to him again. So he has every right to say, look, like, I have the power. I'm the player here. I'm the one bringing asses to the seats. I'm the one, putting up any kind of points for this team. Like, he's in the right here. He's going to go do what he wants. So, like,
where Watson should go? Obviously, I want him to go to the Jets.
The Niners
look at that graphic. Yes. If he goes to the 49ers, that team, they're going to win a Super Bowl with that guy.
Yeah, and that's probably where the Texans want to trade him. They don't want him in the AFC. They don't want to send him to the Jets or to Miami and have to. I mean, I know they're not in the same division, but they'll probably at least every year or 2 or 3 years they're going to play them or run into them in the playoffs if they eventually get to the point where they come through on a rebuild. They want to trade him to the conference, but I don't think that's going to be and I guess this is a good couple minutes I can vent on, like, what we've been hearing in the media and stuff with these lists of, like, oh, Watson's not going to go to the Jets, or he's got the Jets number 1 and the Dolphins are number 2. Nobody knows shit. Like, there is nothing right now in the media. The Watson camp, his agent, his marketing agent, Jet fans are, like, stalking their pages and looking for, like, any kind of clue. Nothing you see right now is going to be realistic in the long run. Like, Watson and his team know what they're doing. His agent, David Mugoletta, he went through this with Jalen Ramsey 2 years ago. He knows how to get his guy into a situation to, either capitalize money, financially, or in a place that he wants to play. So when you see, like, Jets are number 1 on the list, or Jets aren't even on the list, or, Watson just wants to go anywhere, if the Jets or the Dolphins agree to a trade with the Texans and the Texans are okay with it, they're going to say, all right, you want out so bad, we're going to trade you to the Jets, or we're going to trade you to the Dolphins because it makes sense for us. Obviously it's a two-sided here. Like, the Texans need to be able to get fair compensation for, this elite player.
He's not going to the Dolphins. 0% chance.
I mean, I don't know if
he's not going to the Dolphins. Nick,
I don't think I could say that for sure. I think if anything, they're probably one of the top, like, to me, it just makes sense to go to the Jets or Dolphins for both sides. For Houston, to get the number 2 or the number 3 pick is the, like, crown jewel. Like, what are you going to do if you trade him to the Niners at 12 or wherever they're picking? Or, I know Schefter even like dropped the Saints or the Steelers. First off, those teams are like $80 million over the cap combined, like, separately. they're picking 24th and 28th respectively. Like, what are those picks going to do for the Texans? Like, you got to think here, the Texans need to rebuild. They need to inject some like life into the franchise. It's going to be Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. You need to sell these fans some kind of hope.
Yeah, but Nick, I'm saying the Dolphins know because the Texans don't want Tua. We know that. They don't want
We don't know that. I don't think we know anything.
The report was pretty verified, Nick.
I don't think so. I mean,
Nick
was pretty verified. The new GM. It's a new GM there. Like, I don't think we can for sure say we know anything about what's going on. Like, that's why it's like Watson is going to force his way out. He's going to go somewhere where when Houston eventually says, and it's going to happen quick. It's not going to be like, I know like Mortensen said by the draft. That's not teams want to know. They're going to need to know, like, if I don't get Watson, what's my plan B? I'm going to need to go get Wentz or go get Darnold, or am I going to draft a guy? Like, they're going to want to know really soon, like a couple weeks after the Super Bowl. And Houston's going to have to like realize this guy's not going to play for me. Like, he's not going to put his reputation on the line just to like turn around and be like, "Hey, I was kidding. I'm going to come back and play." Like, that's not what's going to happen. Like, Watson's going to get traded here, and like, the sooner Houston comes to like the realization that's going to happen, like, then we could start moving this on, and then you can hear from Watson's side. But the one thing I do believe is, if the Jets or the Dolphins or the Panthers, they agree to a trade with Houston, so the draft picks or players, if they're involved, if that makes sense for Houston, they're going to say, all right, Deshaun, you want out so bad. We just agreed to a trade that works for us. Here's Chris Greer, or here's Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh on the phone. They're pitching their plan to you for an hour. We want to know, 20 minutes or an hour, like, are you good to go there? And then we trade you. I don't think Watson is saying I am, tunnel vision to Team X, and that's the only place I'm going. I just think it's anywhere but Houston right now.
Yeah, I think he's more so concerned about getting his ass out of there than going anywhere right now. But we have some questions from the app, because we're going to skip over our last topic because that whole conversation took a lot longer than we all
sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It was all, important information.
I have a dinner too, guys, to go to at 7:15 called the 12 Chairs. It's an Israeli restaurant. All right, I'm trying to get
really.
All right, we're almost done. All right, so then it's on you guys. Rapid fire questions, rapid fire answers. Question number 1: would you rather have as your quarterback?
I heard your Boston accent there for the first time.
Sorry, I know. It came out too. I'm sorry.
Who would you rather have, Frank?
Sam Darnold or Carson Wentz?
Donald or Carson?
Give me Carson Wentz. Sam Darnold's hot basuda. Give me Wentz.
Give me Darnold just because of the contract. Man, Wentz is damaged goods and he's making like $40 million. Like, oh, that's tough.
The contract is just absolutely stupid. Okay, question number 2. Rank these tight ends in order from greatest to, I guess, not as great. I don't want to say least great.
The least?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So Gronk, Tony Gonzalez, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Shannon Sharp.
I'll go first. The best tight end of all time is Tony Gonzalez, number 1. Number 2 is Rob Gronkowski. Number 3 is Travis Kelce.
You forget there?
Number 4 is Shannon Sharp, and number 5 is George Kittle. I love Kittle, but he's not.
Yeah, he's got to do a little bit more. I'm with you, Frank, but I would flip Gronk 1, Tony G2, Kelce 3, Shannon Sharp 4, Kittle 5.
Yep. I'm with Nick on this one.
Close.
All right, last one, which is probably one of the dumber things I've heard recently. Joe Theismann. Joe Theismann said he would take Zach Wilson over Trevor Lawrence at number 1. Is there any logical sense behind this, or is he just completely talking out of his ass?
Talking out of his ass, and that's coming from the driver of the Zach Wilson fan wagon. I love Zach Wilson. No, Trevor Lawrence is the best prospect since Andrew Luck. Zach Wilson's not.
Yeah,
I think there is some validity to it, just because I'm not saying I would do that. I wouldn't even think about it if I had the first pick. But again, he made a good point. If you watch the clip, which if you go to the uSTADIUM app or you go to the at uSTADIUM on Instagram or Twitter, we're going to post it all around. But he makes a really good point. Zach Wilson, 6'3". He makes every throw. He didn't have the weapons that Trevor Lawrence did. And the last couple games, did Trevor Lawrence really blow your socks off in terms of what you saw on the field? Not really. So maybe there is something there. I didn't realize actually after he said it, I'm like, Zach Wilson really is 6'3". That's interesting.
I know. He looks small.
He looks small. It looks like he's like 5'11", 6 foot, but he's 6'3". He's a big dude. So there could be something there. Maybe they're comparing him to Aaron Rodgers. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not always when you go.
That is, but I mean, what if he does have – my whole thing with Zach Wilson is, does he have the swag and the confidence to be able to go into a team like the Jets that is not going to be heavily not going to have a lot of real estate for him in terms of assets and be able to do something? So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's not always where, but what. It's not always when, but where.
Yeah, exactly.
Mahomes and Watson and Trubisky.
That's true, but Trevor Lawrence. I think I would.
Yeah, all things considering, it's Lawrence.
We posted this clip on like the show on the show message group we have, and Brianna's like, that is legitimately one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. Like,
yeah, Brianna didn't even want it on the show.
No, she didn't click into it because as soon as it was posted, she said it right away.
Yeah, I thought she was going to audible into another question.
No, I just full on. I didn't even click it. I didn't watch the thing. I just read I read the blurb and then I looked to see who it was. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Aiden goes, did you just say fan wagon? Yeah, I did that on purpose. I thought fan wagon sounded better. Bandwagon is such like an old overused term. I think isn't fan wagon like, I mean, I know it doesn't make sense, but like I think it's kind of a cool word. I'm gonna like trademark that one.
I thought it was
I do first.
fan bus. But...
Are you on the website right now to
I don't know. USPTO.org.
Oh my God. All right. So that's it. We talked way too long about a lot of shit that we shouldn't have talked too long about. We missed a really fun topic, but that's okay.
Which one was it? We could do it on the app.
It was the prop bets for Super Bowl
Oh, we
Sunday.
gotta do that real quick.
All right, let's run through it quick. It's got to be as quick as.
Let's do it. Shoot it like rapid fire.
Super quick. Okay. Over under is 56.5. Over. Under. Okay.
Over.
Gatorade color at the end of the game.
Red Chiefs.
Orange for the old school Bucks color.
The best.
I'm going yellow. All right. Coin toss. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Tails never fails, Nick. Come on.
Matthew Slater always goes heads. I'm going heads.
Heads.
And MVP?
Hill.
Brady.
That was quick.
That was quick. I'm impressed.
I don't think you have faith in us.
By the way, for people that want to make
freaking talk, so
I know.
If people want to make money out there, bet on Mike Evans. He's gonna have a big game. So whatever Mike Evans is over his receptions, whatever he got on receptions, yards, Mike Evans. Remember that he will go the over and everything. So make your money on Mike Evans. And uSTADIUM, we just partnered with BetMGM.
BetMGM.
So if you live in Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Indiana, Virginia, I don't know, there's 2 other states on there. Colorado, Tennessee. We're people in Tennessee. If you bet and you're in Tennessee, we will give you a free King Henry t-shirt, which will launch, I believe, either tonight or tomorrow, depending upon when the marketing guys want to get back on the computer.
After the beef stew is ready.
Yeah. So yeah, once that happens, we're going to launch our King Henry line. He will be, I believe, Derek Henry will be promoting the shirt on his Instagram, and we're going to send a chunk of that to his foundation. So check that out. But yeah, check out if you're in those states. Our promotion with BetMGM, it's great, and they're giving you up to $600 risk free, $50 parlay insurance. We're really excited about this promotion. So
that's awesome. And we have a giveaway in the works for tomorrow. We're going to toss up some details for that.
Yeah, at around 3 p.m. tomorrow, we'll post something on the app. So make sure you're tuned into the uSTADIUM app, and we'll post all the promo.
Tixie wants us to try and pronounce his username. I think that's how you say it. Or Tixie?
It's Tixie.
Yeah, I thought Tixie.
No, it's Tixie. It's French.
It's French?
Yeah, you don't pronounce it.
The Q is silent?
Yes.
All right, Big T, how do you pronounce it?
Hasn't he commented that he doesn't even know how he pronounces it? He just kind of goes
Big
with
T is much better.
Big T, tell everyone that speaking of big T's, we're going to be making some T's like this for everyone on the app. So tell them the name will be on the back, the usernames. If you guys want them, Get the word out. We're gonna start giving away some of these cool champion t-shirts. There we go. That's the thing. So let's get on it. I gotta go to dinner, y'all. Let me
All right, get out of here.
Yeah, I gotta go finish packing.
Brianna, safe
so-
flight. Have fun, and yeah.
Brianna, make sure you get some of the good clips on the Instagram.
Yeah, so I'm taking over. Wait, one more thing before we go. I'm taking over the Instagram Sunday morning. I'm going to be trying to get as much content down in Tampa as possible. Some interactive stuff with fans. Going to try to get some fans doing, I don't know, live picks and shit like that. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be on the app, and that's that. So,
Yep. Cool.
All right.
Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody.
See you later.
Happy Super Bowl. Later.